Hi everyone, it's another interview, but this time very different. It's not with an executive from the world of financial services, but it's with a motivational speaker, Hein Wagner. So Hein, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me on the show, Nigel. Thank you.
No, it's my absolute pleasure. I've been looking forward to this for a while. Now, in my opinion, the world seems to be awash with motivational speakers at the moment. Many don't actually deserve this title, but one person who definitely does is Hein, who is with me today. And we really connected via LinkedIn recently. He was just asking for some general advice on how to raise his profile in the Middle East. Now, Hein, I've done a couple of Zoom calls already, and he's an amazing individual who's accomplished so much in life. For example, he's completed the Antarctica Marathon, plus the 2 Oceans and New York Marathons. He's finished several Cape Town cycle tours. He's tackled the white waters of the Zambezi River. He's climbed the 10 highest mountains in the Western Cape. He's completed the Cape to Rio yacht race, and on top of this, he holds the land speed record at 322 kilometers per hour. And this has all been achieved being blind, which I believe is the case since you were born. Is that right, Hein?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was born blind, Nigel.
You're amazing. So again, thank you so much for your time today. And let's quickly ask a couple of questions, with the first one being this world blind speed record. It sounds like an absolutely crazy thing to do, exceeding 300 kilometers per hour. What made you actually want to do this, and what were your preparations for that eventful day?
Actually, my blindness had a severe impact on our family. When I went to blind school boarding house at the age of 5, my dad was supposed to be transferred to another job in Johannesburg, north of Cape Town, as a director for one of the banks. He didn't want to move away from home, so he quit his job and he started working in the car industry. So every weekend that I got home as a little kid, there was different cars in the driveway. And like any youngster, I became besotted with these cars. And I think I was 9 years old when I realized that, Hein, you will never be able to drive one. And if you do it, it's going to be extremely illegal. But I never, ever, ever allowed that dream to die. So back in 2005, I did a bit of research, found out that the fastest blind man in the world was driving at 223 kilometers an hour. I convinced the Maserati and Ferrari importers I had to find, obviously, somebody to get into the car with me to be my navigator. The only guy that I could find had a little bit of a stutter. He was the only one that was willing to get into the car. So that was a bit of a challenge with the communication, but we managed to pull off the land speed record, first in the Maserati on an average of 269 kilometers an hour. And then a blind Belgium guy went and drove a Lamborghini at over 300 kilometers an hour. So we obviously had to go back and reclaim the record for South Africa. So 2009, in fact, on the 6th of October, we went back, reclaimed the world blind land speed for South Africa at 322.52 kilometers an hour in a SL65 AMG Black Series. And Nigel, I can also report back to you that my navigator is now completely rid of his stutter. So we don't have to go back soon and break a world blind speed.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. Amazing, amazing. And I presume you still hold that record today?
Well, I think it's hanging on by a little thread, but I think it's still out there.
Okay, great. Well, that leads me on to electric cars, because I saw a video of yours, which I'll include in this post, whereby you've laid down a challenge to Elon Musk, I believe. So would you like to expand on that? I know he's been a bit busy with some other things recently, like space, but what's your challenge to Elon Musk?
Yeah, he seems to be a fairly busy man, also the most wanted man on the planet, I guess.
And he's South African, of course, so you have that connection.
Yeah, absolutely. So I put a challenge to him. Basically, I want to go back at the world blind land speed record, but this time do it in an electric vehicle. And they are launching the new Roadster this year, which can actually exceed more than 400 kilometers an hour. So I put a bit of a challenge up to him. If he believes that his cars are so safe, then he should get into the passenger seat of a blind guy and tell me where to go. So it's linked to a fundraiser for a foundation we have in South Africa, which we will talk about later a little bit. But I'm very much looking forward to having him in the passenger seat and making sweat a little bit.
Okay, great. Well, let's go back to when you were 16 and living in South Africa, which is one of my favorite countries, particularly in the city of Cape Town. I believe that's where your um, desire to be adventurous started. And I believe you've climbed Table Mountain. Is it 6 times?
Yeah,
Is that
actually,
where it all started?
yeah, it did, and I often get asked the question, Hein, what would you say is your biggest achievement from doing these Ironman and all these crazy
Oh,
extreme
yes, I
adventures?
forgot to mention the Iron Man. Yes, sorry. I should have
Oh,
said that
sure,
in the
sure, no
introduction.
problem. But but I think, for me, my biggest success to date, personal achievement, is accepting my blindness unconditionally. Because when I did that, it just opened my mind and my world to so many opportunities. But you're right, it started back in Cape Town as a teenager, because sighted people kept telling me about this picture perfect postcard view of Table Mountain. And apparently every day it looks different. And they couldn't stop talking and telling me about it. And I thought, well, I have to find out personally what this looks like. So how can a blind person find out what a mountain looks like? Well, you have to actually climb it. Immerse yourself in the experiencing of walking up the mountain. So I did climb it about 6 times. And what happened in the process is I completely, utterly, totally fell in love with the smell of the fauna and flora, the texture of the inside of the protea flower between my fingers. And I made a deal with myself back then and said, one day when I have a real job, whatever that may be, I'm going to take out enough time to go back into nature to recharge, revitalize, re-energize my soul, that I can be ready for the challenges that life might bring my way. And today, of course, I realize that my picture of Table Mountain is completely, totally, utterly different to yours. But I've also come to learn it truly, honestly does not matter. So that for me was a start in tackling adventures which I never thought I would be able to pull off, or even to participate in, like sailing to Rio, Cape Town yacht race. We spoke about the land speed record and many, many more. So I'm so grateful that people irritated me with the view of Table Mountain, because I guess otherwise I probably never would have climbed it, Nigel.
Well, congratulations on climbing it so often. I have been to the top of Table Mountain, but I took the easy option, of course. Um, so let's talk about your work. You're obviously an accomplished public speaker, and you're used to jumping on planes all over the world to host events. I guess your business has been severely impacted by COVID-19.
Yes, indeed. It was quite a shock to the system. I had a full diary till the end of, well, even leading up to 2021. And within 72 hours, speaking engagements all over the world for the rest of the year, within 72 hours in March, that entire diary collapsed. So because of the conference industry just went on its knees right now, with restriction on travel due to COVID-19. So I must be honest, the first week was a bit of a shock because I guess I've been quite spoiled that, my keynote address, A Blind Man of Vision, has become fairly popular on the corporate speaking circuit. And I just will speak at one event, and out of that will be more. So I've done very little marketing over the last few years. Work just came to me. So I was actually very, very spoiled. So all of a sudden, there I am at home, no events for the rest of the year, obviously bills to pay, et cetera, et cetera. So it took me about a week to dust off the shock a little bit. And then I just turned to LinkedIn and said, well, I've built up a network of very influential C executives over the years, companies I worked with. And I just started reaching out and say, hey guys, I'm making my work available online, which is a huge shift for me, Nigel, because sitting in front of a computer doing a keynote presentation or standing in front of a computer, I can't even see myself on the screen. So I don't know if I'm exactly in the frame. Normally for me with an audience, I can feel the response of it because I use a lot of humor in my talk. So I can, all the emotions, I take people on a spectrum of emotions, from sadness, from, to laughing out loud. So, but there's always some kind of audience feedback. And in this new realm, there's absolutely zero. So there was a big mind shift for me to become comfortable within myself to work on screen. So that's been going okay. And the first couple of weeks, it was really just reaching out to people, sending personal messages to try and alert them that I'm actually available to do this online. 6 weeks later, I've done multiple events online on multiple platforms. I'm also becoming a Zoom, Teams, etc. expert with my voice software on my computer and camera angles, it seems. So I
Well done.
think that coming out of all of this, Nigel, it's going to be a very positive, whatever the new norm is going to be, I think it will have a huge positive effect on my business and also my ability to actually live my purpose even further, is to inspire people all over the world, inspire them to turn obstacles into opportunities. That's exactly what I did with my blindness, because the day I looked at it from a different perspective, it became the greatest opportunity I could ever dream for. So whatever the new mix is going to be, whether it's 60% live events, 40% online, or 80-20, we don't know. But I do think this has created a huge opportunity for me to reach out to my network, to engage my corporate friends, and ultimately reach more people and inspire more.
Great. Well, I'm glad to hear that your business is on the up and up. And thank you once again for connecting with me via LinkedIn. It obviously goes to prove LinkedIn is a very powerful marketing tool.
Absolutely.
Let's just quickly turn to your Hein Wagner Academy, which I believe you set up to help visually impaired, mainly kids, isn't it, to become financially independent. Could you just give everyone a bit of background on this and maybe explain how people can contribute?
Absolutely. So the Academy, I founded it 2 years ago, and our focus is actually on adult education, training blind adults. The basis of it is technology. So we're doing a multiple array of courses at the Academy, up to 3-year course. But with the one course that we're very proud of is a new one we rolled out this year, is to train blind people to become cybersecurity analysts. We do the full 3-year course, and it's a highly sought after skill. I think by the end of 2021, there's going to be 3.5 million vacancies worldwide in cybersecurity. And blind people turn out to be fantastic in becoming cybersecurity analysts, because they are so good in using their other senses. So we're actually looking at expanding the Academy potentially to Amsterdam and also London, because there's a huge need in the rest of the world also for quality training for the blind. But one of the things we do is we work closely with a school in South Africa, actually the school that I went to, the blind school. So we also, our students, they have to pay it forward. So our cybersecurity students are also training blind kids from the age of 6 years old to play audio games on iPads and touchscreen technology. So by the time they're 11, 12 years old, those kids, they can use that device to Google, to do their schoolwork, to do research, etc. So it's a fantastic project to be involved in. And I think because technology played such a huge role in my life, I want to make sure that I plow back into the blind community worldwide. And especially where people cannot afford technologies, to put it in their hands and give them a better leash or a better opportunity on the outcome of their personal success economically and actually on all levels. We have a web presence. It's the Academy is, and maybe you can drop the link into the show at the end. It's just heinwagneracademy.org, based in South Africa. However, we have many plans to expand further afield.
So, Hein, you live in Sweden with your wife and daughter, of course, and you're available, I believe, for conferences anywhere in the world. I believe you've been to the Middle East quite often, because you used to be a brand ambassador for SAP. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been to Dubai many times. And in fact, I travel all over the world to deliver keynotes. I've been in Sweden for the last 6 years. In fact, I actually met my wife at a conference here in Sweden 6 years ago, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Okay, great. Well, if anyone watching this video is looking for a fantastic motivational speaker, then please do contact Hein directly. So what's the best way for people to reach you, Hein?
Absolutely. So online, either LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, but I guess the easiest route is just via my website, heinwagner.com. And info@heinwagner.com email address comes directly to me. So please reach out. I'll be happy to assist.
Okay. Hein, thank you so much for your time today. I hope Elon Musk accepts your challenge, and I look forward to meeting you in person one day very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Nigel.
My pleasure. Take care.